Number 14, write the parametric equations x equals 4t squared and y equals 2t minus 5 in rectangular form. Now the way to do this, there's two steps. Is one, if there's no trig involved, you solve for what is shared. And once we solve for what is shared, we're going to substitute that into the other equation. So solve and substitute are two steps. I'm going to choose this equation. I think it's easier to solve. What is shared is the t. So I'm going to solve for t. So I add 5 on both sides of this equation. When I do so, that goes away. So I have y plus 5 equals 2t. And my final step of getting t by itself is I divide by 2. And so we now know that t equals y plus 5 over 2. I'm going to take this and plug it into the other equation. So the other equation said that x equals 4 times, and then we substitute here, y plus 5 over 2, and we square that here. Now when we square, what happens is you square the top and you square the bottom. Now what I'm going to do, though, is I'm not actually going to square the top out. I'm just going to say this equals 4 times. I'm going to leave the top. Excuse me. I'm going to do, well, I'll do double parentheses. Y plus 5 quantity squared over 4, like that. So I'm going to rewrite this. And now when you multiply this by 4, what happens is this 4 is going to cancel with this 4. So all we're left with is that x equals y plus 5 quantity squared. That should be your answer there. Now how can we check to make sure we did this correctly? So we can go to parametrics in the graph. And so I'm going to clear this. Go back to graph, menu, graph entry, parametric, and I'll type in the original equations. It was 4t squared, and the other one was 2t minus 5. And since it didn't give me a time value, I'm actually going to put in now here negative 10 to positive 10. And we'll see what this picture looks like. It looks like I have a horizontal parabola. So to check my answer, I'm going to go to menu, graph entry. I'm going to go to equation, choose parabola, and I'm going to choose one of these two horizontal ones. Since I have a parenthesis, I'm going to choose the vertex form. And we did not have a number in front of the parentheses, so I'll leave it as a 1. But I did have a plus 5. So I need to change this to y instead of minus something. I'm going to put a negative 5 there. And there was nothing on the outside, so I hit 0. Hit enter, and notice it's the exact same graph. They highlighted right on top of each other. If you're not sure, I just moved it like that. You can see that they are two different graphs, and I'll go back and undo what I just did. You'll notice that they're exactly the same graph.